Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my channel. In this episode, we're going to talk about judging. How do we define judging? What does it mean to judge? And what kind of consequences can it have for ourselves? So we live in an era where we easily have access to whatever people say or do, especially on social media. And I thought I could share my insight about it because I think it's something that we can improve in order to have better interaction in and outside social media. So according to the Cambridge Dictionary, there are two definitions of judging. The first one: form, give or have an opinion or to decide about something or someone, especially after thinking carefully. The second one: to express a bad opinion of someone's behavior, often because you think you are better than them. We're going to start to analyze the first definition. We can observe how it refers to something good or at least useful. And what do I mean by that? First of all, it's important to form an opinion about something to avoid, for example, danger. Talking about interactions, when we first meet someone, we gather information about that person and therefore we can decide whether or not to trust them. And this kind of judging is healthy because it guides our actions. On the other hand, the second definition stresses the importance that we give to the other person compared to ourselves, implying that we take a position of superiority. So why do we take this position of superiority? One of the reasons could be that we judge someone's situation just sticking to our own perspective on the matter, refusing to review the same situation using someone else's perspective. However, no perspective is correct or 100% objective, and this is why it's called perspective. And there are two kinds of people that do this: those who don't care to consider the situation from someone else's point of view, and those who do, yet they won't accept someone else's point of view due to their own ego. However, there are even more specific reasons why we do judge, and one of these might be fear. When we are afraid of something, we sort of cut off different possibilities, taking a defensive approach to whatever causes this fear. We face life always basing ourselves on our previous experiences. It is often easier to close ourselves in our own comfort zone, facing those fears, as we've always done, instead of trying to take a new, different approach. Because by doing so, we would show vulnerability, and approaching life with a different perspective, it's scary because it could lead to some changes in our behaviors that could actually put us in danger. This is why it's easier to just follow what we already know. We already know that this works, so we are gonna do this. It's like we're caged in a vicious circle that often transforms into an unhealthy coping mechanism. Last but not least, it's important to consider the pressure that is put on us by the external world, pressure from society standards or friends or families, for example, affects our mindset, convincing us if we don't fit a box, we are consequently worthless, and therefore teaching us that judging is a good thing and teaching us to judge others by using these same standards we've been judged upon. I'm not here to discuss whether it's fair or not to judge someone, but rather to determine what kind of consequences it can have, mainly on ourselves, because we already know that judging others can lead to them to feel anxiety, to feel depression, to feel sad, to feel bad about themselves. But what does it do to us? First and foremost, when we judge somebody, we take this position of superiority that leads to prejudice from our part. Paradoxically, by doing so, we don't really get to know that person. Judging doesn't actually produce critical, objective thinking from our side. It actually decreases it. And we can agree that judging doesn't produce any useful opinion, but it actually is barely an end in itself. So this is suggestion time. What can you do to improve your bad habit of judging people? This is something I started to do. I started to replace statements with questions. For example, if you greet someone you know on the streets and you see they don't greet you back, instead of taking for granted that their person is not nice and they purposely don't want to be nice to you, try to think about a reason that could explain their behavior. So that was everything for today. If you liked the video, subscribe to my channel, and I'm gonna be here every Monday and Thursday. See you in the next video. Bye!